Hello, everyone. Thanks again for joining us today. We are all gathered here for the Guru Systems webinar on mobile marketing in cannabis. This webinar will be recorded and always shared with all the attendees and anybody who couldn't make it but did sign up, so you will have a chance to review it and share with your team afterwards. All right, just a quick little bit of background on me, your speaker, and then why I'm here to help you guys today. Myself and our business partners here at Guru Systems, we do have an extensive background in the software cannabis space. We are ex-VPs from BioTrack, ex-government contractors for a few years now, and with that, have a lot of experience working in all legal states and countries and helping businesses expand on both their compliance side and their marketing and sales side. So today we are going to share some of the lessons learned as we've kind of gathered them throughout our experience, and specifically the ones focused on mobile marketing. So I'm going to jump right in. And, got a little ahead of myself there. So I'm going to jump right in here, and we'll start with why marketing in this space is difficult and some of the difficulties you're coming across. So it's probably, definitely shouldn't be any news to any of the attendees here, as you're all kind of operators and business owners. But within the cannabis space, the traditional advertising platforms, they're really not your friends. So this is, for the most part, business decisions that those platforms have made, but in certain areas you're also limited by regulations and restrictions that the state policies will put in place as to who you can market to and who you can't, and we'll touch on that. But you probably encountered a lot of these difficulties where, general business thought will tell you to, use Google AdWords to get your word out there, to use social media, especially on the retail side, to connect with your following, connect with your tribe, and build your brand. And that's simply not the reality in this space for you guys. And it's just, these aren't necessarily tools that you have available to you, or if you are using them, you're really restricted on how you can use them. However, there are some creative ways that you can work around them, and thankfully there are tools that have emerged to fill those gaps in this industry for you. So obviously, Facebook and Instagram and Twitter are the top ones that stand out that you may want to be using, but you can't. You may have gotten your accounts shut down in the past, or you may be scared to actually even use the platforms to avoid getting shut down. And there are a lot of businesses that will go ahead and use these platforms freely, but they have been shut down in the past and experienced firsthand the painstaking process. It's a pain in the butt, to be frank, having to rebuild the accounts, open a new one, and build that organic following again. And then you have some, MailChimp, for example, here is another provider that, for the most part, has been, I wouldn't necessarily say friendly to cannabis, but businesses have been able to kind of fly under the radar and not have, trouble with MailChimp. However, word on the street is people are starting to get shut down. MailChimp's starting to close accounts for businesses that are operating in the cannabis space. And unfortunately, this isn't just for the product-touching businesses, even ancillary companies such as ourselves, the Guru Systems. We've had Facebook accounts shut down before, and so on and so forth. So these are things to be aware of. However, you do have options. So it is possible to use these platforms to market your business. You just kind of have to know how to navigate around the roadblocks and follow the rules that have been placed for you. So first and foremost, it's always recommended to add disclaimers, whether it's on your website or your social media, that you must be 21 or over to follow this account or to access this site. And that will kind of help you get past the first radar or the first blocking point on a lot of areas. But specifically on these social platforms, one of the huge red flags and the thing to kind of avoid at all costs is to never post a product that's for sale or to advertise something for sale, or even make it closely seem that something is for sale. We've seen people who are simply saying, hey, we have this product, ask us about it. We've heard that, we've had them getting flagged and getting warnings from Instagram and from Facebook that, hey, if you do this again, we'll shut you down. And if you kind of tread the waters and get close to the line of selling something, you do open yourself up to, in some of the more cutthroat and competitive markets out there, we've had people report that, their competitors will make anonymous complaints to Facebook or Instagram to kind of give them trouble and then get them shut down. So be careful to not post anything for sale or make it seem like you're posting anything for sale. Also, one of the big rules, especially on Instagram, but on Facebook and the other socials also, is they don't even want you to let people know how to contact them. If you're a physical store, they'll flag you if you have any of the generic contact us information, your phone number, your address. So all that information will, having those kind of things, even if you have an Instagram business account, having your address or direct contact within the existing contact us button for Instagram, that could get you into trouble with those platforms. So one of the kind of workarounds for that is you redirect them to your website. And on your website, there you can, it's your website, so you can kind of do as you wish there and redirect people to your physical location or direct them to how to buy products or contact you guys via phone, etc. So there's a few. I'm not going to just list everything that's on here. You can definitely take a screenshot of this, or like I said, I'll send you the video. But kind of the key takeaway here is if you're going to be using these platforms, be careful to play by the rules that they're putting in place for you. And the easiest way, it's one rule of thumb for you guys to be able to do that without having to kind of rack your brain around it, is ignore some of the more traditional thoughts for how a business should use these platforms and focus on how an individual would use them, right? So an individual, for the most part, unless it's, a sole proprietor, an individual wouldn't be posting, hey, come buy this from me, or posting that something's for sale or where they can locate your store. They'll be sharing in the conversation. They'll be promoting educational information or looking to engage with others on a platform. So give your business more of an individualized voice. Be a participant in the online social community more than just a digital representation of your brick and mortar. And that'll help you kind of, without having to think too hard about it, avoid a lot of the pitfalls that a lot of businesses in the cannabis space will run into. And really, I guess, what to do, right? So if traditional business practice nowadays is telling you, hey, you got to use these platforms and these advertising channels to get out there, you may be kind of lost as to how you can really promote your business, how you can get out there. And the key really is to just cultivate your brand, right? It sounds like a no-brainer, give me like, hey, Raf, tell us something that we don't already know, but really dive into this concept and look at what it means, right? So don't be like everyone else, first and foremost. That's obviously, you want to differentiate yourself from your competitors, and that may be easier said than done, but look at your business, look at who your demographics are, your key customers, right? So, 5 dispensaries in the same city might have very different demographics. They might have a very different customer set. So are your customers baby boomers? Are they millennials mostly? Are they working professionals, or are you more of a blue collar community, right? So how are you going to craft your message, and who is really following your brand? That's where you start getting yourself more of an individual brand, really look and feel to your company. And it kind of matches, the previous note about on these social platforms being more of an individual than just a generic brand, right? So find your own voice, find your own look and feel. Look at what you value as a business and what your customers value. And then with that, obviously the website's going to be the main thing for you guys, especially in this space, where you don't have the ability to drive people to a Facebook page as easily. You want to make sure that you have your own spot, your own corner of digital real estate with your website, and make sure it's a high quality website, right? Make sure it has plenty of, you don't want to clutter the screen, but make sure you have visuals so that people know what they're there for, and have key verbiage and content at front and center at the top of your website, so people know why they're going to your dispensary or shopping with your brand versus others, right? What differentiates you? Are you the economic brand? Are you the premium brand? Are you the accessible one? Or are you the one that kind of matches with their lifestyle choices? So make sure that your your website portrays that and communicates that easily. Also make sure that it's easy to navigate. And if you are going to have a lot of images, make sure that the and I'll touch on SEO in a couple of slides here, but make sure that the text that you're including on your website isn't part of the image, but it's actually text on your website, because that's what SEO engines, search engines will use to index your site, and that's how you'll start popping up higher and higher on search results. And I'll mention throughout here that SEO is really going to be one of your best friends. I mean, it is just in general something that's good to keep for your business, but especially in this space where you have limited options, SEO is going to be very powerful for you. And you want to make sure that you're working with agencies or a marketing person that truly specialize in SEO, not that it's just one of the many things they do, because search engines, they're constantly updating their algorithms as to what they look for, so you're going to need a specialist to do it right for you. And that specialist, they'll share some of these things also, where online content, right? So generating your own content is going to be key, whether it's blog posts, whether it's infographics, etc. But among those, video is king, especially nowadays. So you want to make sure that you're putting together video content, and you don't have to have a big budget for video. It's something that you can do easily yourself, right? You can Google has free tools for you. You can use like what we're using here with Join.me, Log Me In. Just do a cursory Google search for different video capturing and recording services that you can do from your computer and just capture your own screen and post that on YouTube. So video is key, and I would recommend that whatever video you make, you keep the segment short, and if at all possible, make it so that people can watch it on mute, because a lot of times people are watching it, on their way to work, maybe as they're putting their kid to sleep. They want to make sure that they can watch it on mute and still not miss out on anything. Public relations, that's going to be key for you guys, whether it's traditional PR and hiring a PR agent to get the word out, reaching out to press, using press releases, or just, if you have managed to successfully have a social media platform, or, get a lot of traffic to your website, doing giveaways, product swag, whether it's directly your products or those of, vendors that you work with, even as simple as stickers. People love stickers, and it's a great way to, drum up some excitement around your brand. At the end of the day, it's really just going to be a lot of sweat equity on this front, outreach, whether it's digital, whether it's in person, whether it's sending out mailers, calls, etc. You're going to kind of have to roll your sleeves up and dig in yourself. But at the end of the day, that's really the only way to make sure that it's your voice that's getting heard. So with that, this webinar is really focused on mobile marketing, but I'd be remiss if I didn't just kind of remind you guys of some of the other quote-unquote regular tactics that you have available, some of the broad market marketing tactics that you can use. All right, so within the cannabis space, there are media outlets that you can access and that would be paid for. So you can pay for promotion, of course. And I'm talking about, the online blogs like the Cannabis, or physical paper publications like the High Times or Cannabis Now or Cannabis Business Times, or just other influencers, whether on social media influencers or just influential companies that would like to allow you to guest post on their blog or give you link backs to your site. They're not always paid for. You could form some good relationships, and I encourage you guys to put in the legwork and hit the pavement and build those relationships so that you don't have to pay for this exposure. But one quick way, if you got the budget for it, is just pay for media on these relevant sites. Stepping up your SEO game. As you can see in this chart over here, this is from a dispensary that did pay for a professional who specialized in SEO, and this is the kind of, if you have good quality SEO help, this is the kind of traffic it'll garner for you, where it's just based off of the organic search. You will type in Denver dispensary in the Google search, and these are the kind of organic hits that you'll get. So that's what SEO can really do for you, and in this space, it's going to be one of your saving graces. Even though Google won't allow you in this business to have Google AdWords, they will allow you to set up your physical location in Google My Business, so that when people are, just Google dispensary when they're in your town, on Google Maps you can pop up, or in the Google search you can pop up as a physical location, and they can put a pin there and find you. So if you guys are trying to focus on local business, not so much on a digital, that'll be key for you. I'm going to skip these 2 points because we're going to mention it in the next couple slides, email campaigns and text messaging, and that's where, the mobile marketing will really come in for you. But outdoor advertising, finally, if, within your market, within your state, the regulations allow for you to do it, you've probably been, in maybe some other rec states like Las Vegas or California or Puerto Rico, not a rec state, but in Puerto Rico you'll see it too, where you will have billboards and physical signage outdoors that's allowed. So you can have a billboard directing people to your business, or it can be on taxis, etc. So if you have the budget for that, for the most part, I know it's a prohibitive cost, and most of us won't have the budget for that, but it is an option for you in many markets also. So what I'll touch on next, which is really going to help you, is your mobile marketing, right? So your email campaigns, text messages, these are things that can work for you. One of the key things to consider here is, how do you want to drive your traffic? How do you want people to find you, right? So with this, you have kind of 2 general buckets to decide from. Do you want them to find, and I must say, you actually want to use a mix of both. And by what I mean by both is people looking for you on a marketplace where they can find you and all your competitors, or people going directly to where you've driven them. So it's a more individualized, private experience. Maybe it's an online shopping menu on your website instead of on lead maps, for example. So the 2 have pros and cons, and if anything, you actually do need to use both to have a strong, robust marketing strategy. But one thing to keep in mind with companies like Weed Maps and Leaf Season and Leaf Links is, well, first of all, being frank, that you will get charged an arm and a leg for the most part if you want any real exposure. If you want to be anywhere near the top of the results, if you want people outside of your 15-mile radius to find you, etc. But the other thing to keep in mind is, when I've myself been consulting dispensaries and cultivations, and I've been sitting in their office, and I'll pull up Weed Maps, and within their own office at the dispensary, they won't be the 3rd, even 4th result to pop up. So you may be, directing on social media or on your email or in your website, directing people to find you on Weed Maps. Hey, find us on WM, download Weed Maps, look at it there. Really what you're doing also is you're directing them to your competitors. So that's just something to be aware of. Keep that in mind as you implement your strategies there. But one thing that is complementary is there are a bunch of solutions for you where you can have your own marketing platform and drive traffic the way you want to drive them, away from your competitors and to your digital real estate, whether that's your social media or your website, and you have much more control over what they see and experience. So you have a lot of solutions over the last couple of years that have popped up to help you with this, and that's actually a really good thing. You don't need to get what we like to call analysis paralysis here and say, there's too many options. It's actually a really good thing for you guys, the business consumers, because now you don't have to go with just the general software that everybody recommends. You don't have to go with the defaults that your consultant might give you. You can really just find the software that really speaks to you the best, the one that matches your brand and your identity more, and gives you guys the solutions that are easy for your operating model. Because not every operating model is the same. Not every solution is going to be great for everybody. So you have, the Janes, the Bakers down there, the Eases of the space that everybody knows about, but do a little bit of a cursory research and you'll find a lot of options. Speak to people that may know. By all means, you can contact us afterwards and we'll give you an honest overview of the different options that are there for you. Even if it's not Guru Systems, we'll kind of get a feel for what you're looking for and kind of explain what the differences are between the major vendors out there. So you do have a lot of options. We obviously prefer that you check out Guru Systems, but you have options to choose from so you can really find something that matches your business best. The main things you want to look out for, though, when you're choosing or looking for your marketing platform is, first of all, do they have all the tools that I need? Because, going back a slide here, you have many different brands, but they don't all offer the same feature set, right? So some may only offer an online menu, whereas others will offer online menu, text message marketing, online ordering. By the way, Guru Systems is the latter. It does all those. And some will offer delivery only, and some will only offer will offer more of a CRM approach. So kind of depending on the features that you're looking for, that'll be key. But you want to make sure that you're picking something that has multiple tools for you in one place, so you don't have to have a mix and a hodgepodge of different platforms to fill your needs, right? You have one tool that'll answer all of these questions for you and fill all these needs for you. The other thing to be aware of is not all those platforms that I showed on the previous slide may be available to you in your market, right? So very few of those are available in all states. Very few of those, if only a couple, are available outside of the mainland United States. But, you'll be hard pressed to find any of those solutions in places like Puerto Rico or internationally in Latin America or in Europe, where the market's starting to boom right now. So make sure that, especially if you're a multi-site operator or if you're looking to become one and expand into other territories, make sure you're picking a tool that can grow with you so that you're not kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place as you want to expand into another market. And ultimately, it's going to come down to your style, whether you want a tool that looks more complex or more simple. But we recommend simple tools, ones that provide you an intuitive experience. They're easy to use, because it's not always going to be, you or your, very well-qualified employees that are taking care of it. Sometimes certain features or certain parts of the tool will be interacted with your part-time employees. So you want it to be something that's easy to train new employees on, something that you can trust your full-time, really well-qualified employees, but also your part-timers that may only be there for a summer, right? So it's a tool that it's intuitive and easy to use and kind of works seamlessly with your business. That'll be a key thing for you to look for. So just to, I'm kind of rushing, going through this quickly in the sake of time, so to be respectful of everybody's time here. But one thing that I will show is an example of some of the tools that you have available for you. So with that, I'm going to show you guys Guru Systems. Now, there may be other tools for you. I'm happy to talk about how we compare with others and who we might be good for, and if we're not good for you, what tools might be best for you. But just quickly going over an overview of our tool and kind of highlighting a couple of things that you want to keep in mind as you're looking for tools to add. All right, so the first thing is you want a tool that's going to obviously just give you some summary stats of your entire operation. But the key thing to note is if you have, especially if you have multiple stores, multiple locations, you want to make sure that you can view all those statistics from one place, not having to log out and in for different solutions. And as I click here to our message editing, so you can see how easy it is and the type of ease that you want to show or have within your platform for creating messages and managing your messaging campaigns, note that our solution here is web-based, right? So web-based is going to be ideal for you, because with that, you're not going to be kind of shackled to one computer, one machine. You can access the platform wherever you are, hopefully not while you're on vacation, but if you are, you can access it there, you can access it on the beach, you can access it on a bus, kind of like a Dr. Seuss book, right? You can access it wherever you are. As you're seeing here, it's we are kind of the male tooth of cannabis, right? So we really allow you guys to craft your message, craft your show your voice, and make sure your brand is seen. You can see what the message looks like as you're sending it. You want to make sure that you're using a tool that allows you common things like emojis. Not every tool allows that. So this will really let you kind of let your character show. And you'd be surprised how many tools actually don't provide the ability to include media, right? So you want to be able to have a tool that allows you to include pictures and files and PDFs and even, short videos, whether it's a GIF or an actual just little video and audio. All right, so that's going to be huge for you in your marketing. And also keeping in mind who you're talking to, right? Do you want to communicate with just an individual, right? So here you're talking to one contact. So you want to go one by one, talk to an individual, or do you want to be able to segment your audience and talk to the entire group at once in a broadcast, right? So and you want to make sure that these groups are also easy for you to manage and idiosyncratic to whatever your business needs are. So whether you want to group them by location, by city, whether you want to group them by demographics or by purchase history, you want that to be easy for you to manage, and you want to be able to schedule that out, right? So that you don't have to come in here every single day. As much as we love people using our platform, we truly believe that the less time you're spending in front of the computer on the software, the better it's performing for you, right? You have businesses to run, and if it's not that, you have a life to live. You don't want to be in front of the computer all day. So with that, you don't have to come in here and send your message every single day. You can schedule it out. You can schedule it down to the minute if you want. And you can schedule as far as, you can schedule the entire year if you wanted. Usually you'll have a lot of people doing a mix of scheduling out posts ahead of time and doing a little bit on the fly for things like flash sales. If they're monitoring their sales and seeing that, maybe my store in the city over isn't doing so hot today, I'll have a special going for the next couple of hours. And you also want to be able to automatically have, things like birthday messages go out. So you can set up a special date message, schedule it for a special date, and then all of your contacts should have, they should, and ours you do, but they should have the ability to have an anniversary or a birth date associated to that contact. So when you schedule your special date message here, it'll automatically go out. So, whoever has a birthday today will receive the message, and tomorrow the same, and so forth. And then also, if you're going to be constantly sending similar messages, so let's say, for example, you got Saturdays, every Saturday you got a Saturday special, and the only thing that changes is the strain that's on sale, or the strain that you're giving extra loyalty points for. You want to be able to kind of easily just pull up that template. You don't have to rewrite it every single time and send it. And then, as you notice here in this text, you got little text to stop to end. So that's key. And what that really is if you, within our platform, if somebody receives your text message and they reply stop, they're going to automatically be unsubscribed, and they'll get an automated reply saying as much. If they reply start, it will be the opposite. They'll get resubscribed or subscribed to your list, and so on. So making sure that your tool gives you those kind of compliance features in the back end is going to be huge to make sure that you don't run into any trouble with the FCC, or nobody complains that they're getting spammed or getting messages that are unwanted, right? So with that, it's kind of, you forget about it. You don't have to worry about the compliance. If somebody replies stop, even if you send them the message, it's not going to go through, so you can sleep sound. There's a lot of tools out there that don't provide that. So you got to be careful with that. That can really hurt your business if you don't have a tool that gives you that. Or if you're using tools like, for example, a lot of the seed-to-sale tracking platforms, they'll provide you some options to send text, but they do it through like a back-end way, which is via email. So you have to set up an email, and you're actually kind of emailing people's mobile phones. And although that seems pretty cool and really easy to use, you don't have these compliance features, so people don't have a way to opt out, and you have no way of knowing if they opted out. So that's a fast-tracked way to get into trouble with the FCC. So make sure that you're using a tool that helps you avoid those problems. Also, a lot of our competitors, they're not integrated with your seed-to-sale tracking, so you're going to have to do manual entry, a double entry, to bring all those stats in, right? So that's, to be frank, that kind of sucks, right? You already spent all this time setting up your seed-to-sale tracking, and now you got to do the same. You have to spend all this time setting up your marketing software. Forget about it. So our tool, the great thing with that is it's all integrated. It's synchronized. Whichever seed-to-sale tracking you're using, we'll synchronize with it if we're not already. So we're synchronized with BioTrack. We're finishing up with MJ Freeway and a few other platforms right now. So with that, all these contacts that you see here, you don't have to enter them manually. You can enter them through, you can bring them in through your synchronization. That makes it really easy for you. And if for whatever reason the contacts aren't in your tracking system, let's say maybe you just finished a patient fair or we're at a trade show and collected a lot of contacts, we'll always give you the option to just do a bulk upload of a spreadsheet. And through each contact, we'll be able to note if they've opted in or not and go that way. So it's a really easy tool to use. Make sure that you stay compliant and you don't have to spend hours managing your contacts. Speaking on the topic of integration, you want to make sure, especially, if you think that entering contacts is going to be a pain in the neck without integration, inventory is going to be a whole nother ballpark. It's going to be a headache for you if it's not integrated. So our solution is just to see, you also want to make sure, especially if you're expanding, that you're working with a solution that makes it easy for you to add a new location. You don't want to have to, make an appointment with tech support or have people chase you down if you're adding locations. With us, it's very easy. We want you to grow. We want you to easily add locations without having to worry about it. So here you can simply add a location, but you'll notice that from square one, you can leave it blank if you don't want to integrate, but from square one, you have the options to enter your API information so it's all integrated. So these here are different locations. I'm going to hop into one of them randomly just to show you. And in our solution, these squares here, these represent the rooms. So for example, this is my sales floor. These are the rooms that are in your tracking system, right? So you don't have to worry about organizing it, bringing it all in automatically. You just come here, you do a quick sync, and it automatically within a couple seconds just populates everything for you, right? So the good thing is that your customers won't see this. They don't see how it's organized. It's just for you to see. I'll show you in 2 seconds here how they see it. But all this information that's here, nobody enters it by hand, right? Not even the QA results. These QA results, they come straight from the integration. And the awesome thing is that if you don't have, or your tracking system is missing some of the things like terpenes that you want to add, you can add those manually, right? So you can bring in the stats, bring in the information that's in your tracking system, and then you can augment on top of that. So it's really a robust tool. You can add images, you can add PDFs. We'll constantly have images here that we're updating, so that if you don't have an image, you can add your own. And our menus, I'll show you in 1 second here. It's fully customizable, so it really matches your brand, all right? And you can definitely control what's visible on your menu and what's not, so you can avoid overselling, or you can avoid, if there's a product that you don't want to show on the menu for whatever reason, you can choose what's available and what's not. You can just choose to make the whole room available if that's how you're managing your inventory. But you know, if you had to go item by item, updating each item, that would, to be frank, that would suck. You know, that's against what Guru System stands for. We want to make it easy for you to come in and out, get everything done in a jiffy, right? So we have a couple of ways for you. You can obviously check each box here or check all of them, and then just go ahead and say, hey, I'm going to update. I'm going to add a category, put all of these products in one category, or give them all this price. You can set it up so you can have price by weight, right? So if you're going to have your eighths here, you can have a price by there. You can set it up so that it's like a drop down and people can pick the package size that they want. And PDFs, images, you can add them to all of them there. But also, if checking each box one by one is still, or checking all of them here is still too long of a process, you can come in here and just do it based off of logic, right? So you can say, I want every strain, every product of this strain, or every product of this type that's in a room. So if you have a flower room or an extract room, or if it's all kind of mixed and it's just your sales floor, you can say, hey, I got my AK-47 pre-roll all set and good to go. I'm going to pick that one, and then every AK-47 pre-roll in my inventory, I want to make sure it has the same image, same price, same everything, all right? So pretty easily, pretty quickly, you can get all your inventory set up. And, of course, if there is any products that, let me go back a second and show you if there's any products that aren't in your tracking system that you want to upload. So let's say they're accessories or just non-cannabis inventory. You can upload a spreadsheet with those too. And we have something called duplicate entry protection. So it sounds pretty nerdy, but what it does for you is it makes sure that if you do an upload with a batch of products that were already there, it's not going to duplicate them. It'll just update the quantities. So it's a pretty easy way to manage your inventory. And if you notice, I just click this button here, this inventory menu button, and it automatically launches my menu, right? So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, where it's easy to use. You want it to be quick, painless, and this menu that gets launched, it's a browser, right? So you can do whatever you want with that browser. You can embed it in your own website, so it's just a seamless experience. People go to, you know, your dispensary / menu or whatever you want to direct them to, and it'll be this embedded within your site. Or you can just send it as a standalone a link within your texting, or include it in your Weedmaps profile, and so on and so forth. And the great thing is that, you know, it's really intuitive. This branding, this look and feel, you can easily make it your own and make it match your brand colors, your brand style, and go from there. And finally, you want to make sure that the experience is easy for your customers, right? So you want to make sure that if they want to come in here, see your lab results, see your image, etc., but they don't have to go through a painstaking process of kind of downloading an app or opening a profile and waiting for you to approve, right? If you want them, they can just hit your site, enter the information, and finish their sale, right? So this will be like the key information that you guys need from them to verify that they're real. You can easily modify these fields so that they're what you look for. If you have the ability to offer them credits and coupon codes and go from there. So easily they come in here, place their order, and then on your side, you'll get email notifications, text notifications. You'll know every time somebody places an order, and you can kind of manage them easily all from one place here, right? Come in here and see all your orders, select them, you know, and from there just quickly go through the process and say, hey, this one's confirmed, I fulfilled it, etc., or I'm rejecting it for whatever reason. And at each step, the purchaser or the requester will have the ability to get a notification on their side and know what the status is. All right, so just really briefly showing, if you wanted to see more about our tools, I definitely recommend that you sign up for a demo. We'll give you guys an individualized demo at any time, more than happy to. But we definitely recommend that you guys kind of rewatch this webinar, take some of the tips that we've shared, consider the tools that you guys have available to you, whether it's loyalty programs, whether it's texting, whether it's online ordering. There's a lot out there for you. You don't have to pick what everybody else is using. You can choose something that really matches your brand and goes along with your values. All right, so so far I think I've done a good job, I guess, because we don't have any questions coming in. But if you guys do have any questions, I'll wait a couple of seconds here if there's any coming in. But if after this some questions occur to you, by all means, please feel free to email us or go to our site to learn more, or you can use this number. You'll get to one of us. Once again, my name is Rafael Sabah, and if you do want to check out our software in a little more in depth, please, by all means, click on the demo link here. It'll take you to a scheduling tool. I'm more than happy to speak to you, even if it's just not necessarily about our tools, but just about marketing in general and looking for some recommendations on what you guys should do for your business. All right. Well, I appreciate everyone's time. I know on the fly it could be tough to come up with questions, but once again, reach out to us if anything occurs to you. Thank you for everything, and best of luck with all your businesses. Have a great day, guys.